welcome back to the Fan Show. Tonight we have a special guest. Please welcome Mark Tretiak. Welcome. So Mark, tell me a little about yourself.
Alright, well, I'm currently an ethical hacker. I graduated from MIT in 2010. For 5 years after that, I lived in a mountain in Tibet, and I was taught by monks. My master was Master Fan. She taught me everything I know today.
Wow, that's very interesting. So what is an ethical hacker exactly?
Well, pretty much one of two things happen. Either A company hires me to see why or how they got hacked, or B, they ask me to hack them to see how vulnerable they are.
Right. So I wanted to talk to you a little about the Bad Rabbit hack. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so would you possibly summarize the attack?
So pretty much, a group called Bad Rabbit, they hacked several organizations and companies across a bunch of different nations. Germany, Russia, Poland, Ukraine, those are mainly the only ones. And pretty much what they did was they had malware in the machines in those companies lock hard drives so that the user of the machine can't get into any of the files until a ransom was paid.
Wow, and how much was that?
0.05 Bitcoin.
Wow, that's a lot. I don't know how much is that worth in dollars.
$280 apparently.
Wow, because I know Bitcoin went up almost $19,000 a few months ago. So how did the attack end? What happened?
Well, eventually, there were people that were fortunate enough. We figured out how to get their hard drives back without paying the ransom. Some people not so fortunate, they had to pay. Microsoft even updated their operating system with a patch that blocked the back door that the hackers got in through.
Wow. So speaking about that, we need to get to the nitty-gritty. We're going to play a game. So we have this randomizer ready, and we have 4 categories: programming, networking, databases, and hardware software.
Okay.
We're going to randomize it, and whichever one comes up, you need to explain how the hack dealt with that aspect of technology.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
All right, and then.
All right, so you have 60 seconds to give us your best description. And programming. Ready? Go.
Alright, so the entire malware has a lot to do with programming. The entire thing had to be coded and programmed, and there are lots of languages that can do that. Malware is usually programmed in languages like C, C++, C Sharp, and Python. This specific one showed points of it being created in Python, but maybe other parts could have used other languages. It could be a mix of the two. It uses programming in several ways. The first would be blocking the hard drive. It had to be programmed to block the hard drive. The second had to encrypt the files. It had to get past all types of security. It had to get past antivirus. It had to get past Windows firewalls and stuff like that, and the server firewalls especially. It had to be programmed to accept the Bitcoin payment and send the Bitcoin payment somewhere. That's all part of the program. And it also had to disguise itself as an Adobe Flash Player update. When somebody clicked on the update, it would download the contents of the file.
All right, great job. This time, make sure you keep it under a minute.
All right.
So now you have databases. Ready?
Yep.
Go.
Okay, so in terms of databases, the hack actually didn't really have that much to do with it necessarily. It hit a lot of companies and organizations, like I said, around a lot of countries. The thing is that those countries those organizations most likely use databases for their customers. Shipping information, personal information, billing information especially, was probably kept in the databases. What it seems like right now is that the hack was meant for monetary purposes, meaning that the ransom that people paid was the main reason people were being hacked. It was just to get that 0.05 Bitcoin. But in terms of databases, if the files on the hard drive were being blocked, it's very possible that the databases inside those files, which were a part of those Word documents and stuff like that, just regular files, they could have been corrupted, they could have been stolen, they could have just been blocked. We're not sure about that, but databases could have definitely been severely affected.
And time.
Good.
All right, great job. Now you have hardware and software. Ready?
Yep.
Go.
Okay, so in terms of hardware and software, there was a lot of different parts. For hardware, it was mainly that the hard drive, the physical hard drive of the machine, was logically blocked by the malware. So even if somebody took that hard drive out of the machine, plugged it into a different machine, that malware still infested the entire hard drive. The entire hard drive was blocked. There was no way of getting in it. In terms of software, there was a few things. Firstly, it was using a social engineering trick. It disguised itself as Adobe Flash Player, a piece of software that people are very comfortable with. People get updates from Adobe Flash Player every 3 months or something, and they click on it because they're comfortable with it. So that's one software use that the program used. In other ways, it used the operating system, the Microsoft Windows operating system. It used DLL, Dynamic Link Library, which is part of the program, as well as MBR. It changed the MBR to boot the program, the malware.
Time.
Okay.
All right, so great job. Now we're on our last topic, networking. Are you ready?
I am. Let's go.
And go.
Okay, so in terms of networking, the malware actually used a lot. The first thing that I can say is that the program was written so that once the first person in a company or an organization downloads the Adobe Flash Player update, it infestates that computer, and then it can manifest itself throughout the network laterally. It uses a backdoor through the other machines through a network protocol called SMB, Server Message Block. So once that first person allows it onto their machine, it has access to, through the network, because of this protocol SMB, it allows for remote execution of instructions on Windows, all because of this one protocol. So it didn't need any user interaction other than the first person, which is what allowed it to affect an entire company just by one person's mistakes. And it just kept going, and that's how they kept attacking different companies through this one network protocol, server message
And
block.
time. All right, that was intense. Thank you so much for coming here.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so do you have any last words for Gun Break?
Yeah, sure. Change your password every couple months, and don't download anything you don't know, that you're not sure of. Even if it's an Adobe Flash Player update, unless you're 100% sure, don't download it.
All right, you heard it here, everyone. Round of applause for Mark Trutyak.